Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Like I promised you last week, let's talk about Bihar elections. This time around, Bihar is going to be very interesting. And let's understand why. Let's get right into the show. Okay, before I get into the elections, let's get some basic number and dates and all out of our way, and so that we can get directly into the interesting part. Now, Bihar, there are three phases to Bihar election. Phase 1 is on the 28th of October, which will decide there will be voting for 71 seats. Phase 2 is on the 3rd of November, which will have 94 seats, and phase 3 is on the 7th of November, which will have 78 seats. So this is how the total election is being decided. So the total strength of Bihar Assembly is 243. Out of 243, 38 seats are reserved for the scheduled caste and 2 reserved for the scheduled tribe. 38 reserved for SC and 2 for ST. Now let us get into some more action. Now, as far as the current Samikaran is concerned, the current understanding is concerned, and I'm going to talk about this current understanding a little later in the program. But as far as the current understanding is concerned, JDU will contest in 122 seats and Bharatiya Janata Party will contest in 121 seats. Mind you, JDU and Bharatiya Janata Party are pre-poll alliance. LJP, which was part of the NDA last time, is now going to contest separately and going to contest in every seat that JDU is going to contest. Over and above this, LJD is also going to stand on 21 more seats. So in totality, LJP will stand on 143 seats in Bihar. So this is as far as the NDA is concerned. Now, as far as the UPA is concerned, RJD will contest in 144 seats. Congress will contest in 70 seats. CPM will contest in 19 seats and CPI will contest in 4 seats. This is as far as the UPA is concerned. So that's how the contest is going to happen. So before we get into the other details, let us look at what happened last time. Last time, 2015. What had happened? Now, the Samikaran was different then. It was RJD, JDU and Congress. That was the alliance. That they had last time. And Bharatiya Janata Party was fighting with the help of Lok Janashakti Party, which is Chirag Paswan's party, or which was late Ram Vilas Paswan's party. So they were an alliance. So that was last time's Samikaran, last time's combination. This time, of course, as we all know, JDU has gone to Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, JDU and Bharatiya Janata Party are fighting the elections. And on the other hand, you have RJD, Communist Party and INC fighting the elections. Now, last time around, if you notice, from Bharatiya Janata Party's perspective, Bharatiya Janata Party had won 53 seats, Lok Janashakti Party had won 2 seats. As far as the other side, which is the JDU, RJD and Congress side was concerned, JDU actually won 71 seats, but the leader of the roster was Rashtriya Janata Dal, Lalu Prasad's Rashtriya Janata Dal, that won 80 seats, and Congress Party won 27 seats. And of course, there was Communist Party who won 3 seats, Hindustan Awami Morcha who won 1 seat, Independent won 4 seats, Rashtriya Lok Samta Party won 2 seats, and so on and so forth. This was basically how last year looked. So last year, the leader of the roster was, mind you, Lalu Prasad Yadav's RJD, and Lalu Prasad Yadav was on ground. So before I get into the actual 2020 analysis, let us understand the ground. Let us understand the ground realities of Bihar. Now, as we always say, in India, we don't cast our vote, we vote our caste. So caste is going to be a very important factor. So let us discuss some caste and communal numbers. First and foremost is, if you look at it from a religious perspective, according to the 2011 census, there are 82.69% Hindus in Bihar. There are 16.87% Muslims in Bihar and 0.44% in of others, which it could include Christians and others. So that is how the how it's bifurcated. As far as religion is concerned, as far as caste is concerned, 52% of Bihari populations are from OBCs, and mind you, 15% of those are Yadavs. So 52%, a bulk of Bihar population is OBC, 15% is upper caste, and 16% Dalits, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. This is how the Hindu 82.69% is bifurcated. So that's as far as religion and caste is concerned. Now let's move on to some more interesting factors. Number one interesting factor is after 40 years, this is possibly the first time that Lalu Prasad Yadav and late Ram Vilas Paswan are not there on ground for a Bihar election. After 40 years. And it is also very interesting that the major fight now have been taken over by their sons. So Chirag Paswan is now heading Lok Janashakti Party and Tejasvi Yadav is now heading RJD. So these two young sons of these great leaders, they are the ones who are now heading the party and giving a competition. Now who are they competing with? They are competing with Nitish Kumar, who has been somebody who has been working with all these people. So you have two cubs and one lion. That's the fight. Now that's the first interesting factor. The first interesting factor, 40 years, first time, no Lalu, no Ram Vilas Paswan. The next interesting factor is, while all the opinion polls, including ABP C voters opinion poll and Prashnam, which we had also, we had met the person who did that poll, all these polls have got one thing in common. They are all showing JDU and BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, as the leader. They all show that they're leading the opinion polls. Okay, UPA is not doing as well. UPA, RJD and Congress doesn't seem to be doing as well. In fact, according to ABP C voter opinion poll, NDA would get around 141 to 161 seats. UPA would get anything between 64 to 84 seats and others would get anything between 12 to 13 seats. In fact, even Prashnam had given a higher weightage to the NDA versus UPA. So this is where it stands. But what we need to understand is LJP, that is Chirag Paswan's party, is competing with JDU in every seat. Finally, it is going to cause harm to JDU, which means technically it may cause harm to the JDU-BJP alliance. It is definitely going to cause harm to JDU and possibly it may help RJD-INC to a certain extent. So that's the first thing we need to remember. The second thing you need to remember is that somewhere down the line, the entire anti-incumbency that is there, it is all resting on Nitish Kumar. So Nitish Kumar has lost a lot of popularity since 2015. He has lost a lot of popularity. And another thing parallelly that has happened is people like Tejasvi Yadav and especially Chirag Paswan now, their popularity is growing exponentially. So the fact remains that if NDA wins the election, then I think the credit will go to Bharatiya Janata Party and Mr. Narendra Modi. But if NDA loses, then the fault will be of Nitish Kumar and JDU. This is something like heads, you win, tails, I lose. So this is how it's going to be. Either ways, if they win, the credit will go to Bharatiya Janata Party and Narendra Modi. If they lose, the fault will be that of Nitish Kumar, for the simple reason that the anti-incumbency seem to be resting purely on Nitish Kumar. The second thing that should be of interest are the issues that one may see this time. The core issues that one may see this time. And the core issues would start with the Bihar floods, the way Nitish's government, especially Nitish Kumar, handled the Bihar floods. People are not very happy about it. The second thing that's going to play a very, very vital role is employment. And that's going to be a very vital aspect. In fact, from whatever research we have done, whatever speaking we are doing, the biggest thing that is coming through is employment. But then, of course, that is you can't take that as a research nor as a dipstick strategy. It is just a interaction with people. So I'm not going to give more credence than what it deserves. So, but all the same, employment is a very, very important issue. The third issue is the migrant rehabilitation, the migrant laborers, that is the reverse migration that happened, and their rehabilitation. That's going to be a very, very important issue. There's a lot of problems that particular section of people faced. The third, of course, the fourth is obviously caste is going to obviously play an important role in Bihar election, like always. Sushant Singh Rajput, according to Prashnam's research, they felt that Sushant Singh Rajput was a fairly important issue that Bihar is going to face this time around in election. And one has to figure out how, because at the moment that impact seems to be going down, a lot of things that have happened. So I don't know how much of Sushant Singh Rajput issue will be played in this election, but all the same, as far as the list is concerned, it exists, so I'm going to talk about it. The Congress may raise the issue of Hathras. Now, how effective it will be, one has to see. But the Congress definitely will be raising the issue of Hathras in Bihar elections. Farm bill may be an issue that will be raised in the elections, that will be raised in various forums. But how effective will it be? It is too early to decide at this point in time. CA, NRC, of course, the minorities will have this as a major issue. So that also would be one of the issues that will be spoken about, that will be talked about in the Bihar elections. So these are the 7 major issues that are going to be seen in Bihar elections at the moment. The last point that I want to make is about pre-poll alliance. So, like in polls, if JDU and BJP can get the absolute majority, great, then everything is fine. But what if they don't? You see, we saw a lot of jumps in Maharashtra. Shiv Sena, who was a Bharatiya Janata Party pre-poll alliance, went and joined the Mahavikas Aghadi and became the chief minister, made the government. Do we see something like that? Could we see something like that in Bihar? Now, the reason I ask this is because, you see, NDA, though not officially, NDA of course officially consists of, like I said, JDU and BJP, but Lok Janashakti Party has committed that it will stick to NDA. But what happens? What happens if BJP gets good seats, but JDU fails to get good seat, and Lok Shakti Party, which is Ramvilas Paswan, late Ramvilas Paswan's party, gets a fairly decent number of seats? Because obviously there is going to be a fairly decent sympathy wave that the party is going to get after the demise of Mr. Ramvilas Paswan. So what happens in that case? Will LJP allow JDU chief ministerial candidate? Will LJP allow Nitish Kumar to be the chief minister? The chances are no, because I think between the Paswans and Nitish Kumar, there has been something beyond politics. It's getting a little more personal, their fight. So there could be a chance that LJP may jump to a UPA. There's a chance it could happen. Or what happens if LJP and Bharatiya Janata Party comes together but still is short of the magical figure? What stops RJD from coming and joining the NDA bandwagon? I understand RJD vote bank is Muslims, there is a huge Muslim vote bank they have, but JDU has done it. JDU was the same like RJD before. So what stops RJD from coming and joining the Bharatiya Janata Party or the NDA bandwagon? Because mind you, Lalu Prasad Yadav is still in jail. And possibly alliance like this could help Lalu Prasad Yadav. So this is the very interesting factor. So one has to really see the sanctity of pre-poll alliance as far as Bihar is concerned. So this is broadly what the Bihar election looks like. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.